Okay, so now we are live on YouTube. Let me share this link on Telegram. Let me share this link on Telegram. Yeah, so we can continue. Yeah, we can continue from where we have stopped. And we have 4 types of buses. I mentioned about address bus, data bus, control bus, and then you have some buses that connect peripherals called peripheral bus. Yep, now I know some of you don't know what's a peripheral. You know all the players of Chelsea, but when it comes to computers, that's where we draw lines. So we have a bus that connect peripheral devices. Transfer data between input and output systems. Apart from that, let us have a look at about cache storage. So today you are making your own notes. You say today you need to make your own notes from what I'm sharing. So after this, don't ask me for notes. If I'm making my own notes, why should you not make yours? And also these notes are found on the e-learning. No, most of you just go to the e-learning portal to do catch. No, what I'm sharing today is what is found on the e-learning portal. So let us have a look about backing storage. Backing storage. So as the word itself, backing, or maybe you can rather say backup, right? So backing storage, we usually call it as a secondary storage, right? Or some call it as auxiliary storage. So apart from RAM and ROM, we have this backing storage or secondary storage where data is saved or where data is stored permanently. So remember when you are using a computer, last time we realized last lesson last week, we say that a computer cannot function without the operating system. Apart from the operating system, we also mentioned that a computer needs application software. So these softwares are usually installed. Okay, when you install a software, this software resides in the backing storage, or usually saved in the secondary storage, so that when you shut down your computer, you shut down your phone, you power on again, you see your applications are still there. It means they are saved somewhere permanently. So that's now the function of backing storage. So what's the function of backing storage? Backing storage usually provide a computer system with what's called offline storage. Offline storage. So it stores master files like the system software and programs relating to the specific applications until they are required. So we have some softwares that you use them once in a while. You don't need to use them again and again. So this software usually are stored on the backing storage. So backing storage is used for storing data to the computer when the computer is on and also when the computer is off. That's why we are using this word offline. So they are used to store data when the computer is off, so that when you power it on, you can still access those pieces of information. So computers generally employ the magnetic storage, have magnetic storage. Then we have optical storage. Then we have what's called silicon semiconductor storage. So these are the main three types of technology. The three main types of technology that you can use, that the computer use to store data. These are, or we usually call it a silicon semiconductor device. Let me just use silicon semiconductor devices on that. Yeah. So these are the three main technologies that backing storage use to store data in the computer system. So maybe I have not directed with you. Can you mention some types of magnetic storage devices? Through the chat, mention magnetic storage devices that you have come across that are used to store data. You know, most of you know this. So let us go to the charts and see. Floppy disk, magnetic disk. You see, most of you are at the forefront. You have magnetic tapes, yeah, ATM, flash disk. Memory card, wonderful. Flash disk, flash drive, optical character recognition. Magnetic tape. Okay, yeah, keep them coming. Let me see what our friends on Let me see what our friends on YouTube are saying. We have some friends who are very active on YouTube. YouTube leo mna watch tu sawa. It's okay. So yeah, they are coming. I have seen also the YouTube channel is very active. Yeah, I've seen from memory, Helen Nyabete, memory card, Flavor Nguka, flash disk, types of ROM. Shitanda Moss have given there some types of ROM. You can take notes for those who are on YouTube. Yeah, Sarah Wekanda has mentioned about magnetic. Okay. Yeah. So when it comes to magnetism, magnetic storage, these devices or these backing storage devices usually store data using magnetism. Okay. For those who studied physics up to Form 2, you know what magnetism means. And for those who didn't study physics, you have come across this term that like poles repel and like poles attract, right? So that's how data is usually stored on this backing storage. So you have mentioned about magnetic storage. So we can start with the main called the hard disk. The hard, be mute. So we have a hard disk. Hard disk. The hard disk, we usually call it the hard drive. When you open your laptop or your desktop, we have a disk inside. So when you open your computer, when you open your laptop, inside where the operating system is installed, where the application softwares are installed, where your notes are found. So those notes, what you see on the desktop when you open your laptop, the operating system, the application software, the songs, the movies, all of them are usually stored on the hard disk or on the hard drive. That's why when you shut down your computer, you open again, you go to that folder, you'll be able to see that. So when it comes to magnetism, these disks, they use the magnetism technology so that when you are writing, it intacts the surface. And we shall be able to mention about computer language later. Later, maybe at the end, we shall be able to mention our computer language, which language does a computer understands. So that's how data is read, and also that's how data is written in those hard disk. Apart from the hard disk, we have magnetic. Some of you have mentioned about magnetic tape. I don't know if it is maybe we used to call them compact disc. Let me use this term so that, but I don't know if compact disc is is a computer language. Let me just quote it. So that msiandike compact disk for exam. Yeah, compact disk. Compact disk, or some call it cassette. Okay, cassette, right? Yeah, nenda unaomba mwenzako. I remember this a guy I gave him my cassette, my compact disc of Marumbini, isn't it? Have you had a compact? We used to have a very good song that we used to play during this Christmas, especially from the friends who come from Wasingishu, or I don't know, from Mount Elgon. Marumbini, isn't it? We have those tasks that for you to go back to a particular song, you need to rewind. Okay? You rewind, or you forward. Okay? And if you are a DJ, if rewinding and forwarding takes time, you take out the cassette, you take a pen, that's the big, yo kalamu ya big, unazungusha, you know where the songs are located, then you play. Okay? So those steps, they have what's called magnetism on them, so that when you put on your radio cassette, may it Sony, Sanyo, isn't it? Those old radios. I know most of you are Generation X, you don't know them. We used to have a radio that has 2 cassettes, Decca 1, Decca 2. Okay. Also, we used to have those DVD. We used to have those cassette players. So if you have a movie like this festive season, you are looking for Christian movie, okay, you go and borrow, then you put them on the cassette player. Then you forward until you reach a particular section or a particular segment of song that you like. So they use what's called magnetism, and that is magnetic tape. So you have magnetic discs that we have mentioned, we call them cassettes. So we have also magnetic discs. Let me just scroll this one down so that we can be on the same page. So you have magnetic discs, magnetic discs. Na kama umenunua bundles ya 1 hour, make sure you have subscribed to another one. No, I have realized that ikifika saa 3, the numbers drops, meaning that you have subscribed to a bundle of 1 hour. Please make sure you are connected. We have a lot of Wi-Fi here. So isifike saa 3, then tulikuwa almost 500 tukianza. So we are dropping to 300. Where are others going? And I'll make a very important announcement towards the end of this lesson. So make sure you are there. So we have magnetic discs, or we call them floppy disks. I don't know if you have heard people saying that nenda disco. Okay? Nenda disco. So the word disco came from the word floppy disks. Have you heard of the word kinanda? You have those very black, wide, roundish plates. It looks like a plate. It's very black in color. It's called a put on a kinanda, isn't it? So those days, in 1980s, 1970s, those are the main storage devices. And they were used to be taken care of because once you handle them carelessly, it develops some scratches, then it is rendered useless. So when you had people saying that they are going to discuss, okay, those were the main storage. They were used to play songs in discourse, and they're all storage devices. So on the surface of those disks, when you put them on a Kinanda, they induce current on the Kinanda so that the songs that are stored there, they are able to be played using Kinanda. So those are the three main magnetic storage devices. Then we have what's called optical storage. So magnetic storage, they store data by magnetic technology. I don't want to explain how magnetic technology works, but just know that magnetic storage devices, they store data by magnetism, right? Then apart from magnetism, we have optical storage. So from the word optical, we have what's called optic. Optic means light, right? So it means that these devices usually store data, and these data are usually read or written by use of optics, by use of infrared light, or by the use of the laser beams. So example of optical storage devices, can you mention on the chart example of optical storage devices that you know? Through the chart, mention types of magnet optical storage. Yes, keep them coming. Keep them coming. So generally we have two. We have DVD, and also we have CD. These are the two main optical storage device that are available. DVD stands for digital versatile disc, and then CD stands for compact disc. So when you take a DVD or a CD, okay, then you look on its surface, you realize that it's shiny, and the intensity of the shyness keeps on changing. So it means that data on those surfaces are usually read or written by optical beams. So I don't want to indulge on how these devices operate. That is worthy investigating, so that when you go back to the village, you can explain to your villagers how a DVD works. Okay. So this digital versatile disc, DVD stores larger amount of data compared to the compact discs. It stores up to 4.7 GB, When you buy one, you see that it's written 4.7 GB. Although we have some new technologies that can make a DVD stores up to 17 GB. So they are used to store a very large multimedia presentations like movies that combine high quality sound and graphics. So comparing magnetic storage and optical storage, can you compare and contrast between magnetic storage and optical storage? Compare and contrast. Let me write down. Compare and contrast between magnetic storage and optical storage. Compare and contrast between magnetic storage and optical storage. So advantages of magnetic tapes. Maybe when you are comparing and contrast some of the factors that you need to put into consideration, you need to consider the speed, capacity, right? Also, you need to consider the costs and the convenience. Convenience means storage, how you need maybe to keep it, and also how you can access data. You realize that one technology, you can easily access data compared to another technology. Another technology needs you to scroll one at a time from one region to another before you access data. Then another technology, you realize that you just need to select by the click of a mouse. Okay? Then another one is stores a lot of data compared to another technology. Another technology is expensive. How much does a DVD cost? DVD costs 30, 35, 40 shillings. But when you go and buy a hard disk, you realize that you can buy a hard disk at 2,000, 4,000, 6,000, depending on the capacity, right? I don't know how much does a magnetic tape cost. I have forgotten the price when you used to buy them some time back. Then when it comes to capacity, I'll say that the DVD can store 4.7 GB up to 20 GB. But when you go to hard disk, we have some hard drive that can store up to 1,000 GB, 2,000 GB. So you realize that they are better off when it comes to cost. Then when it comes to convenience, this means that for a DVD or a CD, or rather magnetic tape, you need to browse. You need to sequentially access data. But when it comes to magnetic disk, once you have plugged it on the computer, you don't need to access data sequentially. So those are some of the considerations you need to put in place. Apart from these two, apart from the optical storage and magnetic storage, we have what's called silicon semiconductor devices. This is now the latest technology. Okay, this is the latest technology. So they don't use magnetism, they don't use optical storage. Rather, they use what's called registers. Remember we mentioned about registers? These are silicon semiconductor devices. Example includes, can you mention an example of silicon semiconductor devices that you have come across? Let me go and check on the charts. Let me just check on the charts. Yes, keeps the chart coming. Yes, Tribe Omar has mentioned about advantages and disadvantages of magnetic. Okay. Okay. Now, what was GTP? I don't know. Nicholas Bruna. It's so painful if you engage your memory, isn't it? You go to chat GTP. You copy and paste it here. We should discourage that. If thinking is painful, please avoid going to chat GTP because you not have your phone during exams. So if you engage using ChatGPT, you go to Google, you copy and paste here, please, unajidanganya. So try engaging your brains. Use your brains. Don't use Google. Don't use ChatGPT. Unajidanganya. Try thinking outside the box. Hii mambo ya kila kitu naenda kwa Google, ChatGPT. How to cook wali, you go to ChatGPT. How to seduce a girlfriend, you go to ChatGPT. Weban, avoid that. That's being lazy. So we have silicon semiconductor devices, or we also call them as a solid state. So sometimes in exam or somewhere can mention about silicon semiconductor devices. Some can mention it as a solid state storage devices. Okay. So this is the latest technology. It comes on the 4th computer generation and the 5th computer generation. So it's solid state, means that it has no moving parts. When you compare the magnetic tape and optical storage, you realize that they mechanically move. Unaweka DVD, unasikia inazunguka. Hata ukisikiza computer yako, if you get very close to your computer, okay, utasikia kitu inazunguka ndani. It means that data is being read or written by physical movement of those disks. But when it comes to this solid state storage, so it does not move. That's called solid. Solid inamaanisha haisongei. There's no movement inside. Like your phone does not make noise compared to a computer because the storage that your phone uses is solid. Okay, it is solid, right? Yeah, so solid state storage device does not move. And this proves them to be faster because moving takes time. So solid state storage device faster compared to the previous technology. So we have some examples of this solid state storage device, right? Have you come across what's called a flash disk? Ama mnaitanga USB drive, right? Ukinunua laptop, unaona laptop wamesema ati storage yake ni SSD. Okay? Memory card. Does memory card have some movements? No. Right? What else? Yeah, these are some of the examples of solid state storage devices. Have a look at that. And what's the advantages? We have realized that these are much faster when it comes to reading and writing of data on them, although they are much expensive, and also they need the latest technology. So let us go to another subtopic. Okay, let us go to another subtopic. Let me see what you are commenting on the charts. Let us go through the charts. So someone said that they are portable, wonderful. That's from Anthony Echoto. As you can carry information from computer to a computer. Apart from portability, we have realized that also these are solid state. They are smaller in size. Okay, you can have a flash, very small, like, or a memory card, isn't it? Very small, but it carries 1,000 GB of data. That needs one sack of DVDs to carry the same data, or it needs 10 kilos of CDs to carry the same data. So it's small in size, but has huge capacity compared to the previous technologies. So mtu akikuuliza, I want to buy a computer. Want to buy a computer. Wewe kama mtu umesoma, isn't it? Wewe kama mtu mwenye unategemewa na village. You see, when you are going back to the village in December, you'll be a very different person. Okay? Namwambia, if you want to buy a laptop, you give specifications. Nataka laptop iko na hii, iko na hii, na hii, iko na hii. So from that, what are the factors you should consider when you are buying a computer? What are some of the factors you should consider when you are buying a computer? What are some of the factors you should consider when purchasing a computer? I want those answers keep coming. Sasa nataka nione kama unategemewa na village ama we kuisha. Kama wewe unategemewa na village ama village inakutegemea, ama wewe unategemea village. I want you to illustrate, to list down. Ukienda kununua saa hii laptop, si help zimekuja, isn't it? Some of you are planning to buy a laptop. Will you buy a laptop depending on the color? Nataka hiyo iko green, I want that one that's white. Nataka hiyo ya screen kubwa. Okay. What are some of the factors you should consider when purchasing a computer? Let us take like 2-3 minutes. Acha nione wenye wanategemea village ama wenye village inategemea. Okay, yeah, wonderful. Acha nione watu wa YouTube wanasema nini pia. Acha niangalie watu wa YouTube. Okay, YouTube here, you are very active. The likes of Simiu, Baron, Elda, Betsheba, Brian Wayasenda, Eugene. Hey, Mew Baron, Silas. Yes. Not wa chat GTP. I don't know what's their problems. Ani kila kitu nenda kwa chat GTP. Na kila kitu nenda kwa chat GTP. Eh? It's not bad to use chat GTP, okay? I'm not condemning. It's not bad to use chat GTP, but try to engage your knowledge with chat GTP. Don't just go and copy everything on the chat GPT and you paste here. That is more plagiarism, claiming to have something that's not yours. Enter Google, then from the Google you can paraphrase or you can reframe the answers before you come and post here. So I'm just trying to check what are some factors. I know most of you are considering cost. They say cheap is expensive. So ukinunua laptop ya 8,000 ukinunua laptop ya 8,000 na mwingine amenunua laptop ya 20,000, mwingine amenunua laptop ya 80,000. Don't think that they will be the same unless kama imeibwa. Unless kama kuna mtu amepigwa mgeta mahali amenyang'anywa laptop umeleta kuiuza wamekuzia 8,000. But cheap is expensive. Yes, keep them coming. Mwingine ata consider battery, provided battery ya laptop inakaa 8 hours. That is a good laptop, right? Okay. Someone will consider the RAM, processing speed, storage. Nataka laptop iko na 10,000 GB. Sasa yenye ni village inawategemea from the responses. If someone confuses you, it means he has confuses the entire village, because I have seen you are very learned individuals. So from today ukienda kununua laptop, naambia mtu wa kuuza laptop nataka laptop ya Core i7. Okay, I want a laptop Core i7 with 3.5 gigahertz speed of the CPU, with 16 GB RAM, with 10 GB, 10,000 SSD. No mtu wa kuuza laptop wanaona jamaa amesoma, he knows what he wants. But ukisema tunaenda kununua laptop, nataka laptop iko na screen kubwa, nataka laptop ya green ama ya white, means you are a very confused guy. Okay, we have some very small laptops that you can carry on your handbag, or you can carry a laptop on your envelope, on an A4 size envelope. But that laptop is very powerful than your laptop unabeba kwa briefcase. Okay, so the size of the laptop does not matter, but what matters is the specifications. Ja, kuna laptop zingine that are very slow. Unasha laptop unapiga chai ukimaliza ndio inawaka sasa. So these are some of the factors you should be able to put into consideration when you are purchasing a laptop. So we want to have a look at, yes, I have seen most of you know what you are doing. Most of you are learned. You are intellectual guys. So let us have a look on how computer access storage, how computer access memory. So you realize there are some different ways that a computer can access memory. Some depending on the technology of the storage device the computer is used. So some storage allows computer to access memory sequentially. And that's why we need to discuss that. So generally, we have 3 modes of memory access, right? We have 3 modes of memory access. Memory can be accessed sequentially, sequential access. Memory can be accessed randomly, and also memory can be accessed randomly. Also, memory can be accessed directly, call it direct access. So these are the 3 main modes that memory can be accessed. Describes modes of memory access in computers. 12 marks. So kusema tu sequential access, random access, direct access, alafu nafikiri lecturer atakupea 12 marks. You need to come on it very well. So when it comes to sequential access, the memory is accessed in a specific linear sequential manner. Linear sequential manner. Like in compact discs, okay? For you to access a particular song, you need to move from one list to another list, okay? Kama ukiangalia album, sijui tutumie album ya nani, okay? Yeah, you see that ukichukua hiyo compact disc kuweka kwa compact player, for you to access a particular song, you will be forced to move from one song to another, to the next. You press next, forward, reverse, forward, okay, until you access that particular song. So, for example, if you have song A, song B, song C, song D, song E, song F, it means for you to access song B, you need to go to song A, then go to song C. For you to access song D, you need to go from A, B, C, until you reach D. So that's called sequential. And the example of sequential access we have mentioned have magnetic tapes. I hope you are making your notes, because you see I'm also making my notes, okay? We have magnetic discs. The magnetic disk tusema hiyo ni disco discs, ndio, the floppy disk. And also some of the optical, like the DVD, okay? Some of the optical storage. You need to access memory from a table. Then we have what's called random access. When it comes to random access, you access the memory randomly. Don't need to go through a list from one to another one. You access the memory randomly. So It means the operating system. Remember, we mentioned about the functions of the operating system. One of the functions of the operating system was file storage management, right? Storage management. It means that when you save a song on a particular folder, you just go randomly direct to that folder, and you play that song, right? You don't need to go from one list to another, one by one until you reach that particular item. You access it randomly. That's why random access comes in. So it means that computers has registers, and these registers, they store the addresses. They store the addresses of the files. They store the addresses of the file so that you can directly access that particular file randomly. And examples of random access, we have RAM, we have ROM. These storage devices usually stores data, and this data can be accessed randomly. It means that they are very fast in operations. You don't need to wait. Then we have what's called direct access. So some of the time we confuse between random access and direct access. So when it comes to direct access, data is stored using unique addresses. Data is stored using unique addresses. Like most of you have a phone number. So phone number is an address that makes someone to reach to you. Is that it dials that phone number to access you. Or rather we use a post office address. So if someone wants to send an item through poster, he needs to have a unique address that identify the location of the receiver. So access is always accomplished by direct access to reach a general vicinity through sequential searching. So direct access is usually a combination of random plus sequential, random plus sequential to access a memory of a particular file location. So it means that this access is usually semi-random, 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 random. So it means when you save a file on the desktop, or when you save a file on a particular location, so a computer usually keep that address. So if you save file on desktop, it doesn't mean that that file's on the desktop. That files are usually stored on the secondary storage. So when you move an item from my documents, right, to gallery, so the address table usually change so that when you go and click on my documents, isn't it? The files are located on the hard disk. So the computer using the operating system can sequentially and randomly access that particular file. I think that is clear. So hard disk, when you store your file on the hard disk, you can access those files directly by using a unique address. Remember we mentioned about memory bus. We mentioned about data bus, control bus. So they offer those direct access to the files that you have stored on the computer system. So that is the only three main modes of memory access of a computer system. Okay, where are people going? Hii class ndakana ende paka saa 5. I don't know why people leave early. And I said I will announce a very important. I'll give a very important announcement at the end of this lesson, so that those who are leaving, so that they miss out. If you miss out from what I will announce, you'll make my work easier. If you miss out from the announcements that I'll make at the end of this lesson, you make my work easier. Right. Now let us go to the input devices. So after the input device, we shall have a look at scanners. I'm just going to give you a summary. Then output devices, we shall have a look at printers. Then we shall have a look at the types of operating system based on data processing. Types of operating system. So I'm trying to push the syllabus. If the semester is counting down and we have not covered a lot. So types of operating system based on data processing. So that's what we are going to cover. These two I'm just going to list. Then I give you a discussion. You need to sit down and discuss during your free time. I'm just going to mention about scanners. I'm going to mention about printers. I will concentrate much on types of operating system based on data processing. Then by the end, also I'll give you a discussion. I'll give you a discussion, go and discuss about computer networks. So this one, it means that now next week, I'm going to listen from you. I think next week I should just listen from you. So I'll give you a group work that you will, I think that's the best approach. That's the best approach. I will give you a group work that one person or 2 or 3 from your group will be able to unmute, if possible, share the screen and teach us. So next week, I'm going to listen from you and I will mark the work. As you present, I mark. So it means that I need the registration number of the groups next week. So next week, we are going to have a discussion. I'm not going to teach you yourselves. You are going to teach yourselves. So let us have a look about input device. In input devices, we have taken a case of scanners. So a scanner is just a device that used to capture data into the computer system. A scanner is a device that can be used to scan and capture data into the computer system. So some scanners usually convert optical images into digital form and store data in a file. Then we have also some scanners that can use to read. So we have scanners that are used to convert. We have some scanners that are used to convert images into files. Then we have some scanners that can be used to convert symbols. Let me use symbols or sensors. Sensors into data. Let me use that word. Like when you go and scan a document in the cyber, okay, you have a hard copy. It means that it converts hard copy, right? Hard copy into soft copy. Okay. So kama is like uko na pesa, uko na shilingi 200, unaenda kwa M-Pesa, they deposit to your M-Pesa. It means that you have converted the hard copy cash that you have into soft copy of your M-Pesa. So these scanners, when you have your certificate, when you have your ID, okay, you want to convert. No, your ID cannot store your ID in your computer unless you scan it into soft copy. So we have these scanners that you can be able to scan hard copy documents into soft copy. So we have various types of this such of scanners. Then we have some scanners that they vary. Then we have this another type of scanner that does not scan document. These scanners usually scan symbols, sensors. Well, let me use the word encryptions. When you have a look on your student ID, you'll see that we have some barcodes, isn't it? Some barcodes. And even sometimes when you go to the library, you borrow a book. At the back of that book, or on the bottom side of the cover, you realize that we have some barcodes. Some barcodes, isn't it? Yeah. Even if you go to the supermarket, you purchase an item, you see that item usually scanned. Kuna kakitu kanakaa kama hii scanner ilikuwanga wanajua kuscan temperature wakati wa corona. Ulikuwa na kuweka on your forehead, it scans and reads your temperature. So we have those guns that they scan those codes to know that, to give you the item, which item have you purchased and what's the current price. Those are some of the scanners that we are interested with in this particular session. So we have those different types of scanners. So on your ATM, have you ever looked at on your ATM? Okay. on your ATM, when you take your ATM card, you put it on the ATM machine. So ATM machine usually scan the ATM. So we have some scanners that usually use optics. Then we have some scanners that usually use magnetic. So I want just to give you some hints so that you go and investigate. So under the optics, we have what's called optical mark readers. Optical mark readers. Optical mark readers. Also, we have what's called optical character recognition. So kwa exam watakuuliza what is optical, ama watasema OMR. What is OMR? Ama wakuulize what is OCR. So these are type of the scanners that you can scan a particular document and interpret the details on that document. Also, we have a magnetic ink character recognition. So I'm making my notes. So you should also be making your own notes from your side. So, for example, what is MICR? MICR. So these are some of the specific scanners that I would like you to know. So we can start with optical mark readers. Optical mark readers, it allows direct transfer of data from computer from the document or from the device or from the gadget to a computer. So when you have a look, as we mentioned, when you have a look on your student ID, it has some barcode. It has a barcode, right? When you have a look at your smartphone, yeah, I think your smartphone also has a barcode. Ukitoa betri hapo nyuma, you'll see some blue and black lines. Inakaa kama keyboard, blue and black and white colors. So this is an encryption that allows a computer to interpret which data is stored on that particular device. So when it comes to optical mark readers, it allows collection of large volumes of data and without the teller memorizing. You see, when you go to, let us assume you are going to a place like in a supermarket, we have tens of thousands of items of different use that are being sold, right? So ukienda kwa supermarket, so the teller does not need to know mkati, this bread of 80 grams ni pesa ngapi, hiyo keki kilo moja ni pesa ngapi, mafuta ya fresh fry nusu lita ni pesa ngapi, isn't it? So what the technology has done, it allows the data of that particular item to be encrypted using what's called a barcode. What's called a barcode. So that when the scanner, optical mark reader scanner, hiyo kitu inakuanga na kalight ka blue, masiju kalight ka green, it shines across that barcode. The barcode is usually interpreted. Are you purchasing sugar? It can know that this code is for sugar, this code is for rice, this code is for sufuria, this code is for fridge, this code is for TV. TV mode, TV size, the manufacturer, the warranty, the price, all of them are usually encrypted on that barcode. So the teller does not need to key in. Unanunua TV ya 32 inch ya Samsung smart screen price. So the teller does not need to memorize that. All the data is usually encrypted, or it's usually encoded on the barcode. So a device called an optical mark reader, it usually converts the mark into computer readable data. So the reader detects the presence or absence of a mark on a form by sensing the reflected infrared light. So the software in the reader interprets the marks into meaningful characters, which can be passed to the computer for storage and analysis. So it means that the reader can detect, it can recognize, and also it saves a lot of work. And this usually minimize errors. Sio ati umeenda kwa duka unanunua sukari kilo 5 na maybe mtu wa counter ana confuse anaweka sukari kilo 10. So it saves on the errors, it saves on the time and the cost of storing data. So those are all about optical mark readers. When it comes to optical character recognition. Okay, so most of you, you have realized that we have some barcodes that enables you to scan a document. For example, if you send a document, you can scan those barcodes and be able to identify which particular item is. So optical character, so we have some characters that can be encrypted into some symbols, special symbols. So if I type a character, let me just check on my notebook. Yes, on my notebook I have a character. Let me assume this is my notebook. So let me assume I have these characters like 6, 1, 6, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 5, 3, 0, 7, 4. So this is a character that when you scan these characters, a computer can interpret that this is a KUC. This is a KUC notebook A4. So it usually works the same as optical mark readers. But now the mark, it reads the mark. It means that you need to mark your item. So we have some items that have some marks, right? Then we have some items that have some characters encrypted on it. So they work the same way. In mark, it means that is a mark. For example, a barcode. When you go to when you go to, let me just go to WhatsApp. Let me just go to WhatsApp. So when you want to open this WhatsApp on another phone, it usually allows you to scan. It usually allows you to scan QR code. So, so it can allow you to scan a QR code, and sometimes for you to open a particular file. Now, let us go to magnetic ink character recognition. When it comes to magnetic ink character recognition, so it needs magnetism. Okay, it needs magnetism, so that it means a scanner that can read the magnetic component of that device. Example, we gave your ATM card. Your ATM card, at the back we have a black something like a black tape or a black shading at the back of your ATM, right? So when you put that ATM on the reader, so the reader can be able to know your account number, account name, and you can as well check the transaction details that ATM card. For some of you who have gone to the supermarket, usually given a card, a voucher, something like a voucher, something that you can use to collect points, bonga points in a supermarket. So when they put that card in that reader, it can be able to detect how many points do you have. So even some organizations, they have given some staff cards, and this staff card, you need to swap on that sensor. So they have some magnetic or some barcode or some optical characters that can recognize that you are a staff and can give you some permissions in the system. So those are some of the applications of magnetic ink character recognition. So when you go to the banking system, ATMs, some organizations, maybe some membership, they are usually given some cards that allows you to transact. Even some checks. Have you been given a check by CDF? Yeah. So when you are given that check usually have some magnetic ink recognition mechanism. Even the ink that is used to be written to that, when you take that check to the bank, they usually run that check through a scanner. And that scanner can check if that check is genuine or that check is fake. So by the use of magnetic ink and some embossment on that check, you can be able to transact by the use of check. So magnetic character recognition can be used to create checks. So even if you fold your check, or if you smear your check with their liquid, or if so if that check is taken to the magnetic ink character recognition reader on the bank, can be able to detect if that check is genuine, is a fake. So it's very fast, it saves on time, because it can be fed directly on the input device. And that is it, how you can be able to use those. That is it. Any question or any input, let us go to the chat so that let's go to the chart. So let us go to the chart. Let us go to the chart. Yes, let us engage to the chat. If you have any additional information or if you have any question, you can ask. Celeston Davis is asking, what does optical character reader use to sense document? So as we have mentioned, these readers have characters in it, that these characters are used to identify the document. So let us assume I'm going to purchase a computer, isn't it? Currently I'm using a laptop called HP. This HP, it is a 5.5, right? This HP has the screen is 15-inch, has 1 year warranty, and the price is 60,000. So instead of the cashier on the counter entering in all those details, he can use a character. Let us assume he can use some character like NP. Let us assume a character like NP5A010. So N5A010, the scanner can be able to interpret when he enters or when he scans N5A0110, the computer can say that's a HP, Wi-Fi, 16 GB RAM, 1000 terabyte, 15-inch. So that is how characters can be. Apart from the characters, we have what's called mark. You can use some specific marks, something like a drawing, something like a drawing. For some of you who have purchased some items, it has something like a punched card. It has some marks on it, some labels on it that have some QR codes, so that a scanner can be able to scan and interpret. So magnetic ink character recognition usually use a special magnetic ink for it to be detected by magnetic sensors. That's from George. That's wonderful. Yeah. And even some very expensive items, when you go to the supermarket, you know, some of you go to, you have realized some thieves, they go to the supermarket, They want to steal very expensive equipment. Like you have a watch worth 10,000. You have realized you have some items that are very small but expensive, and you want to pass with them in the exit. So even we have some sensors that are on those exits, so that when that item has not been deactivated, it raises an alarm. Even go to the library, pick a book, okay? Hide that book inside your trouser or inside your bra, isn't it? Pass through the exit. Alarm will give a warning, isn't it? That there's an item that has been taken outside the building without being unencrypted, without those sensors being deactivated. So that's how those sensors works. Hope now you have known. Yes, optical reader use lights because ukienda kwa library utaona kuna something like a gun that has some lights, isn't it? If you go to the supermarket, yeah, you see you have some readers that you pass the documents, the items that you have purchased are usually scanned. But when you go to magnetic ink, that card needs to be swapped, through the scanner so that it can read the content that are encrypted in that particular item. Let me go to YouTube. No, I like those guys in YouTube. They are also very busy. So in optical, as we have said, they use light. And we have some barcodes. They use light. So this light is usually reflected on some barcodes, so that these barcodes carry the data that item has. When it comes to marks, so we have the keyword is mark. A mark. What's a mark? Okay. Let me just, I don't know. Which example can I use? So when you buy an item, you realize that it has a sticker in it. Okay? As that sticker has some barcodes. Let me assume kila mtu hapa ameenda kwa supermarket kununua kitu. Ama to anything that is packed directly from the factory, it usually have some barcodes. So that barcode, that's a mark, right? Then we have some items that has something like a pin, something like some numbers that if you read, they don't make sense. Those are some characters. So we have some scanners that can interpret the barcode into important information. Then you have some scanners that can interpret those characters. Like take your student ID. Let me take I think I have an ID. Let me just check my ID. Let me just check. Yeah, you can check on your ID. Your ID has something like some horizontal. Are they no the vertical black and white bars. Kuna zenye ziko nyembamba nyembamba, kubwa kubwa, ndogo. And when you take your neighbor's ID, when you take your friend's ID, okay, then you take your ID, then have a look at those codes, those barcodes. You see that they are not the same. So those codes, they carry information. Unaona information yote niko kwa your student ID. So ukienda somewhere like in the library, they don't need to write your name, your registration number, your department, your course. Yeah. So they just scan the barcode. So that barcode is a mark. So I hope you understand when I say a mark. Then when you go to the library, take a book. So sometimes you realize that barcode, apart from the barcode, they usually come in a combination. Either they scan or either they enter the characters. So you have some numbers at the top or the bottom of the barcode. Those are some of the characters that when you enter into the computer or when you scan them, the computer can easily decode. The computer can easily decode which information they are carrying. So optical mark reader, they use barcodes or they use QR code. QR code. Okay, I don't need to explain that. Then optical character, they read the characters. Okay? They read the characters to identify what particular information. Yeah, someone is asking a very important question. KCP, do KCP assign na ABCD. ABCD, you just stick with a pencil, isn't it? You just cross ABCD. So they use what's called mark readers. So wame program computer, when they take the answer sheet, that computer kama mark A, so it compares the results that is in the computer, so they can be easily mark your system using the marks that the mark you have made on that particular question paper. Also, you are given a serial number or an index number, or some of the, I don't know, the latest IDs. You can get the latest ID, it has some codes, okay? Or it has some codes encrypted on it. Those codes are used to detect the information that, so someone is sharing something. Kim Taylor may share a file of us on Zoom, a file. I have shared, is it a meme or a meme? You call them memes or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. It shows that I know you are surprised, or I don't know. You can easily, I cannot interpret that. So it depends on how you have coded that meme. What does it mean? That emoji that you have posted on the chat. I think yeah. So most of you are getting it right. Most of you are getting it. You're getting it right now. So let us have a look at the printers. As I told you today, I'm taking you marathon very, very, very fast because I need to give you time to revise. Someone has asked me when is the second cut. We shall announce that at the end of this lesson. So we have mentioned about input device. we have touched on the scanners, and we have realized we have 3 types of scanners. Then when it comes to output device, let us have a look at printers. What is a printer? Quickly through the chat, what's a printer? What do you know about printers? Quickly through the chat, what's a printer? What do you know about printers? So I would like to know a classification of printers. Classification of printers. Classification of printers. Just the main thing I'm going to take you through. Si lesson inafaa iende mpaka saa 5. Sijui mbona, why are you worried about the time? Kama data zimeisha, tafuta wifi. Ama lala. No, we don't force you to come to class, to join this online class. Kama data zimeisha, go and sleep. Hata mkibaki watu wawili watatu kwa hii lesson, yeah. So kama data imeisha, we have a lot of hotspots here. Go find. Ama collaborate na rafiki yako, nunua bundles zingine, you use the same device, so that we need to cover a lot today. So it's an output device that converts images into readable form. That's from Tony Wafula. Twali Bomar all-in-one printers. Edwin Hisa printer is a device that duplicates documents, that converts soft copy to hard copy. Someone has mentioned about laser printer. Abraham Hisa anauliza mtu wa hotspot. Oh, sawa, kama ni 10:50 ni sawa. Hata naweza kamaliza 10. Kwa sahi ni 10. So I have like 50 minutes, okay? So we shall finish this class at 10:50. Yes, sometimes OMR works together with OCR. So we have some conditions where OMR, optical mark, works the same as optical character. So Glassman, Dr. Glassman, I may mention about impact and impact printers. Well, that's good. Marceline Mora, a printer is an output device, convert image to readable form, convert soft copy to hard copy. That's weekly for Tieno. Benson Wandabwa says that converts input device, output device, device that converts into images. Yes. Yeah, all of them, they are very valid. Someone, Ida Okwisa has mentioned about type of printers. We have character printer, line printers, page printers. Hawa ni watu wenye walikuja university kusoma. You see? Yeah. Bundles zimeisha, Beverly. Kama bundles zimeisha, enda ukalale. Kama bundles zimeisha, go and sleep. Kama wenda wote jua. Enda wote jua like a lizard. Enda kaa juu ya mawe hapo wote jua like a lizard. Kama bundles zimeisha. Yeah. So Sheban Manyasa has classified printers as impact and impact printers. Yes, so we can start from there. We can start from where Evans Manyasa has taken us through. I've taken where, so we have impact printers, have impact printers. Unajua nafunza kitu chenye most of you know. So it's like you are just revising an impact printers. Okay? Examples of impact printers. I want them. Examples of an impact. And what when you are at university, they know what to do. And what's the difference between impact printer and an impact printer? Impact, hiyo impact inamaanisha nini? Impact. Let me go to, where can I get the dictionary? Let me check if we can get dictionary. Thesaurus. So impact ukienda kwa thesaurus inasema impact means power, impact means crash, impact means collision, impact means bang. Okay? So it means that these printers, they crash, they bang. Okay? Yeah. They produce the output by mechanically hitting. Mechanically hitting the media. Mechanically hitting the media. Characteristics of impact printers, they make a lot of noise, right? So I don't know if I've come across typewriters. Ukienda kwa typewriters, unaona kama like a kicharani, like a sewing machine. Have you ever seen how a sewing machine works? That's how impact printers work. So like inatoboa mashimo, inaeka some dots for it to write something like an A. Okay? Inatoboa mashimo ama inaeka ink by mechanically hitting the paper. So it makes noise. It's very slow. Right? It's technical to operate. Examples, I want you to give me examples of impact printers. Why should I give you notes while you have the noise? You have the notes. Then, non-impact printers, these printers, they print by spraying. They print by spraying ink. They print, you print by spraying ink or engraving. Let me use the word engraving. Toner. Examples of non-impact printers. So they are quiet, they don't make a lot of noise. They are faster, right? They are easy to use. So have you ever gone to a cyber? Okay, unaweza ukaenda kwa cyber unataka kuprint fee statement. Ama most of you mnaenda kuprint exam card. So you see it prints very fast, black and white colored, does not make a lot of noise. So some of them, they use ink, some of they use toner, or we call it powder, isn't it? Yeah. So let me go through the chart and find out the examples of impact. So we have thermal, inkjet, line printers, page printers, wonderful. Then an impact, we have laser, yeah, thermal printer. So Wamboka Sylvia is saying that impact printers operate while sticking a print head, while an impact printer, the prints character and graphics without directly physical contact between printing head and paper. So have you ever gone to a bank? Ukiweka pesa, ukideposit pesa, ukitaka kutoa kupea your bank receipt. Unaona printer, it makes a lot of noise, like a sewing machine, isn't it? Then ukiangalia kwa your bank slip, you see how the characters are formed. Our characters are formed by dots. So they makes a lot of noise, yeah. Then when it comes to an impact, they just spray. They spray ink. And you have like inkjet, it just spray the ink on the piece of paper. You have laser, it engraves the toner, it engraves the toner to form those particular output. So someone mentioned that we can also classify printers depending on the printing. How does it print? Depending on the printing style. So a printer print, we can classify a printer depending on the printing style. So majorly we have impact printers. Majorly we have we have impact printer. Then we have non-impact printers. Then these printers can be grouped into the printing style. So we have printers that print characters at a time, called character printers, right? So any printer in a print company A in a print A, let us assume I'm printing the word like, let us assume I'm printing the word, let me print the word cow. So it means it print C, imalize, you print O, imalize, right? You print W, imalize. So it means that it's printing one character at a time. We call them character print. Example of character, like a typewriter, right? Typewriter. Typewriter prints one character at a time. Then we have some printers that prints one line or one sentence at a time. We call them line printers. So in a print kama ni line moja in a print, narudi print ingine, call them line printers. Then we have some printers that print one page at a time, call them page printers. These printers, they print one page at a time. Then also we can be able to classify printers depending on the type of media they use. So we have some printers that are paper fed. Paper fed. It means that you need to feed them sheet of paper, ream of paper. Then you have some printers that are tractor fed. Tractor fed, these are printers that you feed them with a roll, a roll of paper. So this one are usually fed by the use of ream of paper, or maybe let me call sheet of papers. Then we have printers that, like these printers that they are used to produce ukienda kwa Equity agent ama KCP agent, unachukua ka roll ama I don't know kama cafeteria pia, there's a roll of paper unaweka ndani, ina print, wanakata, wana print. Hata kwa supermarket there's a roll of paper, right? Wana print your roll of paper, wanakata, wanapea. So they are called tractor fed. So they feed by the roll of paper. So majorly in exams, watakuuliza using example, differentiate between impact printers and non-impact printers. Giving examples. Let me just list down this type of printers. Okay. So examples of impact. Mliniambia, mjui kama mmejibu. Have you come across matrix printer? Matrix printer. Let me just save on time. Then examples of non-impact. We have a laser printer. We have inkjet printers. Daisy wheel. Daisy wheel printer. Yeah, so those are some of the few examples of printers that you can come across. Those are some examples of printers. Also, we have some printers that can be used to print a very big output. Most of you will be campaigning. You want to be a student leader, want to print a flyer. Instead, you want to print, even put your picture on the billboard. Okay, so these printers that are used to print very big output, what's their name? These printers that are used to print very big output, they're usually called plotters. So ukienda hapo Kandui, ukienda town, unaona kwa billboard kuna a poster imewekwa, a flyer imewekwa hapo kubwa. So we have a very big printer that can be used to print very big output. Very big graphics. They are called plotters. Very big graphics on plotters. Most of you know these things. Thank you for BE0145. Albert Omondi, we are discussing about printers. Now, kitu tunajua tu ni your registration number. Daktari Albert Omondi, see you alive. we are discussing about printers. We tunajua to just typing in your registration number. Okay, that's good. That is good. We're remaining with 30 minutes. Within those 30 minutes, we're going to cover data processing. Data processing. Then I'll give you a discussion on computer networks. We shall discuss this one next week. And this meeting, remember this meeting is being streamed on YouTube, and you can be able to listen to it again. So maybe after this, I'll share you a link, because today I have realized we have covered a lot, which needs revision. So when it comes to data processing, the first step that usually happens when you are processing data, we start with the data collection. Data collection. So these are steps. We just write them steps. Steps. So step number one, we have what's called data collection. How do we collect data on a computer? We collect data using input devices like a keyboard, mouse, scanner, camera, microphone. Yeah. So we create data by data creation. We create data by data creation. So you can type a document on computer, you can phone on a computer, then you create that data. So you can create data by having a source document, by having a source document, or you can create data by capturing. You can create data by capturing data using a scanner, using a microphone, using a camera. Yeah. You can create data by those types. So first of all, we collect data. Apart from collecting data, step number two, we transmit data. So we call what's called data transmission. Transmission. We transmit data. So you can transmit data from one computer to another. Or you can transmit data through storage devices. Or we can transmit data from one computer to another, maybe through a network. After data has been transmitted, we do what's called data preparation. Data preparation. Data preparation. So this means you verify the data that you want to process. You verify the data that you want to Sorry, I have muted. Sorry for that. Sorry for that. So I think I can repeat. Don't know where I locked. I don't know where we stopped. Where do we stop? Surely. Niangalie. Okay. So I can repeat for that. Let me just repeat. So I muted myself for the last 15 minutes. I've been talking alone. Sorry for that. Yeah. So sorry for that. So we were categorizing operating system. Operating system depending on the interface. We were categorizing operating system depending on the interface. And we realize when it comes to interface, we have two types. We have interface that use character or command line user interface. Then we have interface that use graphics. These are called graphical user interface. Examples of computers that use command line we have mentioned about Unix. We have mentioned about MS-DOS. Then when it comes to graphic GUI, we have Windows versions. Okay, we have Mac OS. Okay, we have Android. These are some of the operating systems that have a graphical user interface. Also, we mentioned about the functions of the operating system. We talked about process scheduling, input and output control, memory management, security management. Also, we classified operating system depending on modes of operations of operating system. So we said we have operating system that runs single program at a time. Then we have some operating system that runs multiple programs, or they allow us called multi-processing. So it means we have a process. We mentioned we have a process. Let's assume we have a process called admission. Had a process called admission. So we want to come up with an operating system that can allow admission. What do you do during admission? I don't know. You start with finance. I don't know. Finance. Let me see. Faculty. Maybe go to faculty. Hostel, right? Maybe security. Maybe medical. So let us assume these are some of the processes. These are some of the processes that you are going to have So we have some operating system that allow one user at a go. Like your phone, you cannot use your phone, two of you, unless you give another person to use. Then you have multi-user. So example of single user, you have these personal computers. Anajua mwezi ukashika mouse watu wawili, si ndio? Mtu mmoja anashika mouse alafu anapea mwingine. Keyboard, can you type two of you at once? Assume una type assignment yako, mwenzako pia anataka kutype assignment. Can you do it at once? No? Mwenzako atatype amalize, akishamaliza anapea mwingine. That's what's called single user. Then we have multi-user. Like example includes distributed systems. Distributed systems. Distributed systems. Or we call it distributed servers. Let me use the word servers so that you get the concept. So multi-user, it allows more than one user to use the system. Ukikuja kwa kitu kama student portal, okay? All of you have an operating system that is installed. Then in that operating system, we have your student portal as an application running it. So it allows more than one person to use the system. So when you log in, you do your own part. Even the e-learning portal, you can log in using your username and password. Then another person can as well log in using the same details. So it allows more than one user. Like when you come to a system like a bank, so a bank like KCB, Equity, they have an operating system, right? So that wewe ukitoa pesa Kitale, ukikuja Bungoma check balance, it will show you that you have done a transaction elsewhere. So it allows multi-user to use the system at the same time. Then we have what's called batch systems. Batch systems allows you to do many processes, but one at a time. Like considering this process of admission, you cannot do all this process at a time. It means that batch system, they usually schedule the processes so that it does one process, it finish, it does another process, finish, does another process, does another process, finish. That's what's called a batch system. Let me use this analogy. Let me use this analogy. Let me use this analogy. Nafunge mlango. Let us assume uko na jiko mbili ama uko na gas cooker. For those who have a double gas cooker, it means that it has double people, or even 4 cookers in it. Okay. Let us assume we are processing something. Okay, let us use something like sambusa. Let me use sambusa. Let us assume we want to prepare sambusa, right? So we have one process that let us assume sambusa gani, sambusa nyama, sambusa ndengu, sambusa ndengu, is it? So we will have one process. We have one server that will be working on. Okay, let us assume you are preparing sambusa, right? You will have to cook your meat and mince it, or maybe if you are preparing sambusa dengu, those who come from Nakuru, no, it was very funny. I was told sambusa inside the cabbage peke yake. You're preparing sambusa cabbage. So ingine they end up putting sambusa ya githeri. Nakula sambusa ndani napata githeri. So let us assume you are preparing a sambusa, right? So you cook your meat. That's a process. You mince your meat, you mix all those things, vitunguu, nyanya, whatever you do. Then unaenda sasa unaganda unga, isn't it? Unaganda unga. That's a process, unaweka kando. Unaanza kuganda unga, you roll like chapati they usually do. After that, you cut into pieces, unaweka kando. Unachukua ya nyama yako ama ndengu. So it means that we are doing one process at a time. Na sasa let us assume tuko na one cooker, uko na meko, ani ni meko moja, isn't it? So utapika nyama, uchukue nyama uweke kando, right? Upige ndengu, uchukue ndengu uweke kando, right? Uchukue blender ama grinder, whatever they mince, you mince the meat uweke kando. Ukande unga uweke kando, you make your flour uweke kando, you roll it into pieces. Those are processes. Then uchukue ndengu or those minced meat uweke ndani ya sambusa. Uchukue your sambusa, you put it in a frying pan with oil. So it means that we are processing information in batches. We are processing information in batches. It means that the system splits this information into small tasks, so that one task completes, then you start another. So like now, when you are using a cooker and you can have 2 burners, or you are using a cooker that it has 4 burners, it means unaweza kuwa unapiga ndengu 1 burner, okay? Uko unapiga nyama in 1 burner, unachemsha mafuta in another burner, na karanga sambusa in another burner. It means the processes are being split into different tasks, and those tasks are usually are being processed at the same time. So when it comes to batch processing, it means this is a multi-user system, okay, that enables you to perform several batches of jobs. It allows you to process several batches of jobs simultaneously in order to optimize the computer resources. Apart from upige ndengu weke kando, upige nyama weke kando, ugande unga weke kando. So we have a system that can process these jobs at the same times into batches. That's why we call them as batch processing. So we have different types of batch system. We have different types of batch system. We have symbol batch system. Symbol batch system. Mani me mute tena, okay? Symbol batch systems. Symbol batch system. We have what's called multi access, and time sharing, and time sharing systems, time sharing system. Then we have real-time system. So I think next week tuanzia hapo real-time systems, so that you can go to another lesson. Then apart from that, we shall be able to have a look at translators. What are translators? Shall have a look at programming languages. Yeah. Then after that, we shall be able to have about a look about computer networks. So at your time, at your free time, kindly go through these notes. I think that on the LMS, go through these notes so that to turn next week, we can be able to revise. No, so when you read at your time, so we shall have a look at the network, or let us the data communication. So we shall concentrate on this. So we have data communication and computer networks. So we shall be able to go through these systems just to revise again. Then we shall be concentrate much of the time on data communication and computer networks. An announcements, let me check on my calendar. Okay. So next Monday we shall be on 4th. So I think next week we can have a class. Next week, that's on 4th, we shall have a normal class, right? Then on 11th of December, we shall have a normal class. Then at 5 p.m. we have a cut. Okay. On 11th of December, in the morning we shall have a normal class. Then in the afternoon we shall have from 5 to 6. We shall have a cut 2. Then 18th, I think shall talk the lecturer. We see if we can have an online class, or we'll give you a recorded video. You go through it and then you do assignment. So I want when we go home, we'll at least covered. We'll at least covered the syllabus. Let me unmute everyone. So tumesema kwa on 11th. Next week we are going to have that is on 4th. We are going to have a normal lesson next week. Then on 11th we have a normal lesson. Then in the afternoon we have a cut. That is on 11th of December. Then on 18th, we can give you a recorded, because najua most of you mtakuwa on a Christmas mode. For those who wants to go to Lokichogio, for those who wants to go to Shakahola, we shall give you a recorded video so that, let me check first. Let me check on your course outline. Let me check on the course outline. Nione what particular items zimebaki. You see 112. Let me just check on the course outline. Nione kitu gani imebaki. Let us have a look at the course outline. So this is the course outline. I've covered a lot. Evolution of computers, classification of computers, characteristics of computers, application of computers, computer hardware, input-output device, processing, primary memory, secondary memory, storage, computer softwares, application software, system software. So next week shall be covering programming languages, right? Next week shall be covering programming languages. Today we have covered processing, data processing modes. So next week also we shall cover data communication and networks. That is topic 5. Then tutakuwa nimebaki na topic 6. You see topic 6. Let me zoom. Sasa mnaona tumemaliza syllabus. So next week tunaenda cover data communication and networks. Tuchape tumalize. Tutarevise kwanza data processing modes, hizo batch system, single user, multi-user, multi-processing. Then we cover on programming languages. Easy tutafanya 30 minutes. Alafu tukuje to cover data communication and networks. Hii pia naenda kuimaliza next week. Data communication and networks. Then tukishamaliza tabaki na topic 6. Hii topic 6 we shall just introduce. Maybe that is on 11th of December. Then we record videos kwa sababu this all is about calculations. Easy topic 6 is all about calculations. Hakuna kitu hapo na calculate so that you reason like a computer. In topic 6, this will I will make you to reason like a computer, how a computer works. So let me unmute you. You can unmute. If you have anything, you can. Katizote ni online. My friend, Katizote ni online. Rome was not built on a single day. Unaweza kwenda kusomea online. Utafika nyumbani useme sikusoma, simu yangu ilibebwa na mafuriko. Kama sijui Shakahola, tunaenda Shakahola, network hakuna.
Hello sir.
Yes. I'm listening, please.
Nauliza.
Yes.
Tamu inaenda wakati gani?
Si tamu ama semester?
Semester.
Huyo nani anatuangusha bwana?
Ninajua nyinyi mlianza kusoma late. First years mlianza kusoma late. That's why naona nyinyi mnafanya mtihani. I think you're doing your exams on you do your exams in January, right?
Yes.
Yes, you're doing your exams in January.
Hello.
So next week naomba kitu ya kufanya, go and read so that tukutana una revise. So those who others can go for another class. Have a nice day.
Asante.